Christians in Nigeria are one such people group. There was a report that came out today that found that 32 Christians in Nigeria are killed every single day. 7,800 have been abducted since 2009, and 185,000 Nigerians have been killed, 125,000 Christians, and 60,000 liberal Muslims. There are 22 jihadist groups. I didn't realize this. I thought there were Boko Haram. I thought there were a few Islamic extremist groups operating in Nigeria, but 22, and they're systematically going around terrorizing Christians. It's been called a silent genocide because nobody cares, and if there are no Jews, then there's no news, and that's just the reality of how Western media often operates. And so because it's black on black violence, because it's black terrorists killing black Christians, the media is completely silent about this. And it's not just happening in Nigeria, in Mozambique, in the Congo, in Tanzania, lots of countries in Africa, you have radical jihadist groups that are killing and persecuting Christians. So Albanese, if you really cared about innocent human life, you would be taking a strong stance against radical Islamic jihadism, and that is the common thread that links Hamas, that links the groups terrorizing the Christians. People think, oh, well, you know, this is just Hamas, it's only going to affect Israel. No, radical Islam will affect all of us. It already is. So it's time we actually stand up for Christians around the world as well.
Well, the problem with what's happening in Africa, I think, Freya, is that the perpetrators are followers of Islam and the victims are Christians. And that upsets the whole leftist narrative of the oppressed and the oppressor, because according to that narrative, Christians are the oppressors and Muslims typically are the oppressed. But of course, in Africa, those roles are reversed. And so the left don't want to know anything about it because it goes against the narrative. The other thing is that defending Christians for the secular left would risk endorsing views that they believe are antiquated and are oppressive. Sanctity of life, chastity, things like hierarchical social norms. And so they don't want to give moral credibility to ideas that they are repulsed by and therefore don't want to draw attention to.
The only hypocrisy in that is that you can't then endorse radical Islam because it is like, you know, if you want to talk about being backwards, that's about as backwards as you can get. But of course the issue...
And yet they do.
Of course, and the issue has always been that they are willing to do that because they think it will help in their ultimate goal, which is the destruction of the West, or to pull apart the cultural touchstones of the West, right?
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Correct. And that's why things like this don't rate as a worldwide media issue, because fundamentally what people are looking for to drive these issues as a global agenda is something that can be linked to the West so that you can then somehow point it back to the West and say, you naughty West. So when you've got black people killing each other in Africa, it doesn't really serve their ends. I mean, you know, they're not actually concerned about the slaughter. And I'm not saying all people who've raised an issue about Palestine are not concerned about slaughter of innocent life, but I'm saying a lot of people who use these conflicts and these issues do so to push an anti-Western barrow. And so they're not interested in what's going on in Africa. I mean, even arguably, you want to talk about wars that we have an interest in, the West has an interest in, Russia and Ukraine. I mean, the resources and money that the Western world has spent on the defence of Ukraine. And does anyone talk anymore about the fact that 1 million odd people have been slaughtered in that war? I mean, you know, it's just certain conflicts and certain issues seem to come to the fore sometimes, and we just forget about the rest of it. People are being killed, genocided every day across the world, and it never rates.
Today, first of all, if we look globally, there are more Christians being persecuted and discriminated against because of their Christian faith than any other time in human history. More than 365 million people around the globe experiencing severe persecution or discrimination, and nowhere is Today, first of all, if we look globally, there are more Christians being persecuted and discriminated against because of their Christian faith than any other time in human history. More than 365 million people around the globe experiencing severe persecution or discrimination. And nowhere is that persecution being expressed with greater violence than in Nigeria. In fact, last year alone, we see that in Nigeria, there were more people that were killed because of their Christian faith than all other places in the globe combined. So to be specific, there were 4,998 Christians that were killed because of their faith in Nigeria last year. So unfortunately, what is happening in Nigeria is not only happening in Nigeria. So throughout sub-Saharan Africa, we are seeing an increase in violence in the persecution, and that can take the form of physical violent attacks. It can take the form of destruction of property. It can take the form of looting. There is a growing problem as Christians are forced from their homes and living in these internally displaced camps. We are seeing that there are literally thousands of individuals that are being forced to live in these tight and cramped conditions. There's thousands of people that are living under tarps with limited access to food or hygiene. In fact, you can see literally thousands of people having to share just a couple of toilets in these camps. And so the situation throughout Africa is severe, and without some type of intervention, the trend is that it is continuing to worsen. Not long ago, there were leaders from the church throughout Africa that came together, and they asked their Christians and brothers and sisters around the globe, as well as members of these international communities like the UN and other parties, to stand with them. And from many of their perspectives, the rest of the world seems to be turning a blind eye. People are not talking about it. People are not aware of the realities, and therefore people aren't doing anything about it. And so in response, I think that we can, as we become aware and increase that awareness, and align ourselves with our brothers and sisters and stand in solidarity with our brothers and sisters in Africa, it sends a vocal message. And that vocal message is one that, for African governments that are choosing not to or intervene and to enforce the laws that would protect the rights of these Christians that are being targeted, it sends a message that the world is watching. For other countries or the UN or other bodies involved in international aid, it can send this message that the protection of religious liberties, it needs to be considered in their strategies and in their programs. For the international Christian community, it sends a message that we need to see ourselves as one body, and perhaps even most importantly for our brothers and sisters in Africa, it sends a message that we see them and that they are not forgotten. I'd invite Christians to really do three things. First and foremost, I always invite Christians to pray. And if you go to opendoorsus.org, you'll see a number of prayer resources that can specifically allow us to lift up our brothers and sisters in Africa. And as you do so, recognize that these are things that we are not praying for our brothers and sisters in Africa. We are praying with our brothers and sisters in Africa. These are things that they specifically vocalized. So secondly, I'd invite people to sign a prayer and petition declaration. And in October of this year, Open Doors will release that on their website. And it's an opportunity to signal your intent to stand with solidarity with our brothers and sisters in Africa, to let your voice be counted with theirs. Again, we're hoping to see over 1 million people sign this petition over the course of this next year. Lastly, I would encourage Christians to use their voices, to raise their voices with friends, with families, with churches, with elected officials, to let them know that these things are important, and to invite others to participate in those same two first steps of prayer and solidarity.
Christians in Nigeria are one such people group. There was a report that came out today that found that 32 Christians in Nigeria are killed every single day. 7,800 have been abducted since 2009, and 185,000 Nigerians have been killed, 125,000 Christians, and 60,000 liberal Muslims. There are 22 jihadist groups. I didn't realize this. I thought there were Boko Haram. I thought there were a few Islamic extremist groups operating in Nigeria, but 22, and they're systematically going around terrorizing Christians. It's been called a silent genocide because nobody cares, and if there are no Jews, then there's no news, and that's just the reality of how Western media often operates. And so because it's black on black violence, because it's black terrorists killing black Christians, the media is completely silent about this. And it's not just happening in Nigeria, in Mozambique, in the Congo, in Tanzania, lots of countries in Africa, you have radical jihadist groups that are killing and persecuting Christians. So Albanese, if you really cared about innocent human life, you would be taking a strong stance against radical Islamic jihadism, and that is the common thread that links Hamas, that links the groups terrorizing the Christians. People think, oh, well, you know, this is just Hamas, it's only going to affect Israel. No, radical Islam will affect all of us. It already is. So it's time we actually stand up for Christians around the world as well.
Well, the problem with what's happening in Africa, I think, Freya, is that the perpetrators are followers of Islam and the victims are Christians. And that upsets the whole leftist narrative of the oppressed and the oppressor, because according to that narrative, Christians are the oppressors and Muslims typically are the oppressed. But of course, in Africa, those roles are reversed. And so the left don't want to know anything about it because it goes against the narrative. The other thing is that defending Christians for the secular left would risk endorsing views that they believe are antiquated and are oppressive. Sanctity of life, chastity, things like hierarchical social norms. And so they don't want to give moral credibility to ideas that they are repulsed by, and therefore don't want to draw attention to.
The only hypocrisy in that is that you can't then endorse radical Islam because it is like, you know, if you want to talk about being backwards, that's about as backwards as you can get. But of course the issue...
And yet they do.
Of course, and the issue has always been that they are willing to do that because they think it will help in their ultimate goal, which is the destruction of the West, or to pull apart the cultural touchstones of the West, right?
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Correct. And that's why things like this don't rate as a worldwide media issue, because fundamentally what people are looking for to drive these issues as a global agenda is something that can be linked to the West so that you can then somehow point it back to the West and say, you naughty West. So when you've got black people killing each other in Africa, it doesn't really serve their ends. I mean, you know, they're not actually concerned about the slaughter. And I'm not saying all people who've raised an issue about Palestine are not concerned about slaughter of innocent life, but I'm saying a lot of people who use these conflicts and these issues do so to push an anti-Western barrow. And so they're not interested in what's going on in Africa. I mean, even arguably, you want to talk about wars that we have an interest in, the West has an interest in, Russia and Ukraine. I mean, the resources and money that the Western world has spent on the defence of Ukraine. And does anyone talk anymore about the fact that 1 million odd people have been slaughtered in that war? I mean, you know, it's just certain conflicts and certain issues seem to come to the fore sometimes, and we just forget about the rest of it. People are being killed, genocided every day across the world, and it never rates.
As very foolishly and stupidly will support them because they want Tinubu as the president. And you are all dying every blessed day. You are all dying every day. Had you people risen up to say that what is happening in Nigeria is bad, there is no way that Fashoranti's daughter will not be alive today. That is the price you pay for duplicity. That is the price you pay for treachery. That is the price you will continue to pay until you rise up and say, enough is enough. It is up to you to do it. You did it during NSAS. You can do it again. Can you imagine Fulani people telling you, if you remove Fulanis from Yoruba forest, imagine Fulani telling you, if you remove them from your ancestral lands, there will be war, and you are panicking. And you have not asked yourself, why are they not saying the same thing about the East? Why did they not say to Eastern Security Network? Why did they not say to me, if you don't stop evacuating Fulani terrorists from the forest, there will be war? Because they know, they understand psychologically that you don't have what it takes to resist them. Do you know why Borno State is still alive? Why you still have the Kanuri people in Borno today? Was because they resisted the Fulani centuries ago. You have to go back to history to understand how Nigeria came into existence. Fulani has been expanding from day one, from Senegambia. All the way from Senegambia, they've been expanding, and now they are in Okigwe. All the way from Senegambia. They are now in Okigwe. And you're asking us to somehow fold our hands and keep quiet because of 2023, because one idiot is going to come out to become a president, because of that rubbish, because of that nonsensical notion, we should fold our hands and wait until we are overrun by the Janjaweed from the Sahel. Is that how reasonable people think? Is that how people that wish to survive as a race, is that how they reason? It is very, very shocking that some of you do not understand what the Fulanis have in store for you. Very, very soon it is going to happen. And when it happens, your eyes will clear. And about whom you will see it very clearly. I was warning you. In 2014, 2015, 2016, they said he's a warmonger. He's a warmongering. I went to America and I told World Igbo Congress that this war you are avoiding is going to come to your villages. They said, no, it's not going to happen. What is happening today? When Yoruba was supporting the dead idiot called Buhari, did I not warn them that this evil you're supporting will consume you? They never listened. They never wanted to listen. IPOB is a terrorist group. You're trying to divide Nigeria. But Mietiala is not. People that you are calling bandits, have you heard anybody come out to say, please Buhari, since presidency is there defending terrorists in the forest, why don't you proscribe them? No, you cannot proscribe a Fulani group. Never. And all of you, we are supporting evil. When there is the proscribed IPOB, proscribed indigenous people of Biafra. These are Yoruba journalists writing junk. Every day they keep writing rubbish. But their land is under siege. Their land is under siege. And the Fulani will take it. It doesn't take time. So I am here today to encourage them that they must stand tall and be very strong, resolute. That is what Fulani does. They control the media. They have well-paid consultants all over the world doing their bidding for them. They have that woman at UN trying to lobby the world that everything is okay in the zoo called Nigeria. But you and I know that the zoo is not okay. You and I know the game plan of the Fulani. And what are you doing about it? Nothing. Every day you read, you lament, you complain. Every day you read, you lament. And that's all you do. That is all you do. You read, you lament, you complain. You do nothing about it. Your lives are being taken away from you. Your forests are being occupied. Your mothers are being raped. Your daughters are being abducted. And the whole national government, presidency, is supporting such people. And you're telling me that Nigeria is viably sustainable. Is that what you're telling me? That somehow this contraption is sustainable, it is viable. It can never be. Because the more you stay in one Nigeria, the more you are inviting the Fulanis to take over your ancestral lands, take over your villages, and to make life a misery for you. That is the end game. That is the outcome. If you doubt me, go and do a bit of research. Ask yourself, who are the Hausa people? Who are the Nupe people? Who are the Bachama people? All of these people were steamrolled by the Fulani march to the Atlantic Ocean. And now they're in Yoruba land. They're in their forests. They are in their forests. And who is going to drive them away from there? If not the Yoruba youths. Forget about your useless governors. Your elders are very strong. I love Yoruba elders. The way they behave, the way they talk. Very, very strong. They say they support Akeredolu. That is the governor of Ondo State. They support him in what he's doing. People must come out to say that enough is enough. When you travel to the north, do you live in the forest in the north? The Igbo people in Sabongeri in Kanu, are they living of course it's Hausa land, are they living in the forest? They came to the town, they worked very hard, they built houses, they built mansions, they developed the entire place. Is that not what they do? What are Fulani people doing in our forest? Nobody can answer that question. They say that they're pastoralists. I want some of you have had your breakfast this morning. Please go to your fridge or go to where you keep your beverages and you will see pig milk. Pig. Some of us were raised on pig milk. For how many years now? And you keep asking yourself, what is pig milk? Pig milk is the same milk that the cows produce in Holland can be produced in the zoo. Tell me the country in the world aspiring to be a member of the UN Security Council where you move cattle from place to place. Are you people well at all? You so-called Nigerians, are you normal in the brain? I'm asking you a simple question. Show me a country that aspires to be in the 21st century moving cattle from place to place. Tell me they're grazing. Which country is that? Please tell me. All of you don't have any shame. When you have people, an entire presidency coming out to defend a very primitive, archaic agricultural practice, then you know you embrace serious mess. You are in one almighty trouble, I'm telling you. People are in a mess. The Holland that you get your pig milk from, do they move cattle from Rotterdam to Amsterdam? I'm asking you a simple question. But they produce the pig milk that you're drinking every blessed day. Why can't Fulani produce pig milk in Sokoto? Why can't they produce carnation milk in Kanu? They have the cattle. Before the white man came, did you see any Fulani in your forest? All these people talking rubbish about movement of cattle and movement of... I'm asking you, before Britain came and handed over Nigeria to Fulani, ask your grandfathers, please, or your grandmothers. Ask them. All this nonsense we are hearing today in this so-called one, I want to tell you the dangers of one Nigeria. All this nonsense you're hearing today about one Nigeria, Fulani in our forest, Fulani in our village. Before the white man came, did you see Fulani moving their cattle all over the place? Did we not have meat to eat? They will answer these questions for you. Because sometimes in Africa we don't reason very well. The way we reason is disjointed. It is disjointed. I can't understand for the life of me why instead of them to waste all that money arming and equipping this Janjaweed army Mihetiala to come and conquer you and I, why don't they open a milk factory somewhere in the north and bring the milk down south? I'm sure Southerners will buy it. After all, pig milk comes all the way from Holland. Pig milk all the way from Holland. Now you understand it. Because of the way you people reason. Why can't you produce? Is it difficult to produce milk? The same milk that comes out naturally from the udder of the cow. Why can't you can it somewhere, pasteurize it, and send it to people to eat, to drink, or to do whatever with? All over the world, that is what is happening. In fact, they produce so much milk in Europe that they pour it away. Why can't you do the same thing? A whole president claiming they are in the 21st century are supporting a very primitive practice of moving cattle from place to place. All of you, you're not ashamed of yourselves. You have no shame. As somebody will say, your shame is shaming me. I'm telling you, you people from the zoo, I'm ashamed of your ignorance and stupidity. You people are hopeless, completely hopeless. One day I want idiot to come and say, we are intellectuals. And you're moving cattle from Kafanchan to Ahoda. You are intellectuals. You are intellectualizing. You are in the 21st century, you are moving cattle, driving cattle, Nama, from over 300 miles. It's claiming Yoruba forest is a place for you to be in. You want to relax, Yoruba forest is every Nigerian is free to live anywhere. And do their business anywhere, yes. But when an Igbo man tries to sell beer in Kanu, you destroy it. You destroy their businesses, you destroy their hotels, but you can come down to the south and live anywhere you like and graze anywhere you like. And you're telling me that is a country, that is one Nigeria for you? The Fulanis we are talking, they call them the Funa movement. Our attention has been drawn to a decree credited to one Rotimi Akeredolu, asking Fulani people who have occupied some forests in Ondo State to quit. We are also aware of another incident in Oyo State where an illiterate political talk gave quit notice to Fulani people to leave their territories, which are now their irreversible homes. Are you listening? Fulani are now saying that Yoruba forest is now their irreversible homes. They have now occupied Yoruba land in perpetuity. And I want to let my Yoruba friends understand this. You see, in life, anytime you support evil, evil will come back to haunt you. All of you never knew that IPOB and this Biafra movement was for your liberation. Some of you saw maybe the oil and gas from Biafra land. If they go now, we'll have access to oil and gas. In the process of having your eyes fixated on oil and gas, your forest is gone. Do you understand it? There is nothing more precious in life than freedom. Freedom is very important. And I need you to understand this very morning. Every Yoruba person supporting Fulani, you are setting up yourself to become like the Hausa people. Remember when Hausa was supporting Fulani? We are Hausa Fulani, we are Hausa Fulani. Where are the Hausa people today? I ask you. Where are those Hausa people today? Do you see them anymore? They're saying we are Hausa Fulani, we are Hausa Fulani. Do you see them again today? Do you see them? I'm asking you. No, because Fulani have completely overwhelmed them. It's called emasculation. Completely emasculated them. Look at what they're doing in the East. In the East, they come to the East, they will tell you, oh, you want to be the president or vice? Yeah. They say, give us land for Ruga. They give them land. I saw Joseph Okado did that Lord Banta. They have taken it over in forever and ever. Give us land in your state. Hope of them prove to us that you are our stood. Give us land in Olo. Hope of them will give them land in Olo. We can go and kill people in Obibo. We can kill for them. How many Fulani governors are prepared to kill bandits? I didn't say normal people. I'm talking about armed, dangerous bandits. How many Fulani governors? Go and read your newspapers, you will see it there. Fulani governors are negotiating with them, giving them arms, giving them vehicles, making sure that their life is no longer in misery. But they come down to the south. They tell you, give us land for Ruga. Go and kill your people to prove to us that you're one Nigerian. That was why Obi also was talking rubbish. Was yesterday or 2 days ago. Supported by the BBC. The problem you people have in Nigeria is this. Your journalists, you see people, Punch newspaper, Tribune, Vanguard, and Nation, they are your second worst enemies. I'm telling you the truth. They can never ever be objective in their reportage. Never ever. That's why all of you are suffering. But you don't know it. They were the same people used to scuttle the NSAS protest. Of course, some of you went about looking for Indomie in warehouses. Typical black people. Any revolution that is coming now, you must stand very firm. They'll say, oh, you're Igbo. Oh, you're Yoruba. Oh, you are from Europe. Don't join them. It's our turn in 2023. If you do this, you will scuttle our chances of becoming the president.
We have emerged triumphant from all our foes. Through the crucible unscathed, we passed victorious. Our trumpets pealing the glorious song. Play it, sing it, all hail Biafra. Oh, hail Biafra. We shall always remember all that perished in the struggle for our freedom.
A minute silence to the fallen heroes of Biafra. And the time starts now. We mourn our heroes past, we celebrate them, and our heroes living as we continue to fight on to the full restoration of Biafra. Ise, Ise, Ise. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good night to everyone, depending on your time zone. And I bring you warm greetings. Today, we felicitate and we congratulate the Ambazonian people. Our allegiances with the Ambazonians are unbroken. They face the same terrorists that we face, and they are fighting for the same freedom of independence that we fight. We share many things in common with the Ambazonians. They are our brothers and sisters who were annexed to the Cameroonian region by the Nigerian terrorist government. They have fought for many years and they still keep on fighting. Their leaders are behind bars, same as our leaders, and we share many things in common. So Biafran people celebrate with the Ambazonian people because 1st October is their day of declaration of independence, the Ambazonian Declaration Day of Independence. We commemorate with them, we salute them, and we join our voices to say Happy Independence Day to the Ambazonian people. We salute our leaders that have lived before us, who are behind bars, still fighting for this freedom. We salute our heroes that are fighting in the battlefield. We salute all Biafrans who are fighting every day with their money, their intellect, and everything they have in them. We salute all Biafrans globally, those that recognize the reason why Biafra must be restored, those that recognize the good work and template of BRGIE, those that recognize the sacrifices that our leaders have made for us to have a home where the jihadist terrorists have not taken over. Our Supreme Leader, we salute you. Our Eternal Leader, our former President of Biafra, our Prime Minister, we salute you. Wazirike, we salute you as well for your sacrifice. We salute our APM. We salute his entire cabinet. We salute the de facto government in the homeland. We salute our BDF, who are fighting side by side with the Biafra Republic government in exile to see that Biafra de facto government in the homeland is fully taken care of and the terrorists are not taking them out. Our sacrifices are not in vain. All you have all been doing are not in vain. You can see that the work of BRGIE is paying off. You can see that the top media houses, the senators, the lawmakers in America, they are beginning to peek into the Nigerian genocide that is ongoing of Christians. This did not happen by magic. This is happening due to the good works of BRGI in Washington, D.C., the knocking of the doors. I want all of you to remember when Mr. Don, the think tank man that was speaking from America in the Biafra Convention in Finland, he said that the Biafran people have to table Biafra to the US congressmen and women by looking at what is actually taking the attention of people. That the Christian genocide is a bedrock for us to climb on. He advised that we should make sure we use every stone that we have to kill all the birds that we need. And we are making use of them very well. Discussions still continues with the US lawmakers, with BRGIE behind the scene. And you are shocked that after the historic congressional briefing of the Biafran people in US, that is when you are beginning to see the US think tanks beginning to speak about Biafra. If you did not ask the question, if you did not search, if you did not think, it is time you start understanding what is playing out. For the Biafran people to have had the opportunity to make use of the US Congressional building, the US Congressional room, to have their congressional briefing on Biafra, it was a starting point to global awareness. Global awareness that not only speak about Biafra, but aspires as the hope of every Christian in Nigeria. We broke the camel's back and the message was delivered. You saw all these wonderful men and women here in the US Congress. So if you are missing any of these publications or photos, please, when you go to our website, click on diplomatic engagement. This is Biafra Republic Government.org. Biafra Republic Government.org. This is how our website looks like when you enter there. And here you can see the old map of 1579. This map of 1579 is to explain to the world that Biafra had existed on the map all the way to 1579, which is the last one that we were able to pick. So if Biafra was seen on the map in 1579 or 1570, that means in 1300, in 1200, Biafra was on the map. Because you have to count how many centuries. You count 1200, 1300, 1400, and then you get to 1500, and then you are seeing Biafra on this very map. That is why we have this map on our website, so that if you're asking us, where is Biafra on the global map, we will refer you to first to go and see the Benin Kingdom, see Biafra, see the Gulf of Guinea, see Cameroon, on the world map. So this is Africa Tabilivla Nova. This was a map that was drawn in 1570. So with this, we will refresh your memory and take you back to understand how we came to be, how we had existed before now, and why we are still existing again. So when you visit BiafraRepublicGovernment.org, BiafraRepublicGovernment.org, this is the front page of what it looks like. Then you click on View Daily Diplomatic Engagement, or you just come here, but click here, it will take you down here. So here you see these wonderful men and women that participated in the U.S. congressional briefing. Then you go down to see all the works and meetings that are ongoing as a diplomatic engagement of BRGIE. These are the diplomatic engagement of BRGIE in Washington, D.C. It is still happening, and it has not finished yet. It is still happening. It has not finished. So we are creating the awareness. This is the Speaker of the U.S. Congress. This is the Speaker of U.S., the number 3 man. Oh, that screen is not showing. Okay, sorry. I'm actually showing the wrong screen. Oh. Okay, sorry. All right. Then you scroll down, you see these wonderful men and women. You come down here, you start seeing the diplomatic engagement. If you click here, it will open to you, it will take you to the explosive testimony that was submitted by BRGIE to the US Congress, which we call on the sanction on Nigeria and Finland, which we also tell them about the Christian genocide that is happening in Nigeria. So if you just click this post you see here in this website, it will take you to the US congressional testimony, where you can read. It's about how many pages? 8 pages of the congressional testimony. So if you just click this inside this website, it will take you there. Then here you come down and then you continue to see this is Ted Cruz, Senator Ted Cruz. You continue to see them, see APM having meeting with all these wonderful men in America. This is the chairman of the House Committee on Foreign Affairs in US, and it is McClever. These are all reps and senators of America. This is our wonderful Michael Rubin, who is doing the great job of putting Biafra on the paper. And this is our US congressional briefing that just concluded in Washington, D.C. Here you see all the lawmakers of America that we are meeting on our diplomatic engagement. Please, you really need to visit this website so that you can feed yourself on a daily basis. This is the current speaker of America, the number 3 man in America. This is the speaker, Mike Johnson. So, we started the discussion with the US lawmakers since September 2024. And we are still moving in. We are still going. This is Smith. We are still going. This is them, senators, lawmakers, reps of America. Our diplomatic engagement is going. This was our presidential inauguration of Donald Trump, which BRGIE was officially invited and attended. This is our Moran Global Strategies lobbying team. We keep going, and you see, and you see, and you see. This is our attorney, Dabiri, doing a great job for the Biafran people, putting Biafra on the table. And you are seeing more, and you will see more. This is our Swagalicious APM doing the work in the US Congressional Unit. This is Ted Cruz again, Senator Ted Cruz, pressing Nigerian neck, pressing Nigerian neck to make sure they let Biafra go. And this is the testimony of the court jurisdiction in Kenya exonerating Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's kidnap, letting the world to know that Nigerian government and Kenyan government committed crime by joining their hands together to kidnap Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Today, Nigeria are telling you, the Nigerian court are telling you that they don't have evidence of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu being extraordinary rendition. Do you see this document on the screen? Okay. So when you go to the BRGIE website, you will see all this. This jurisdiction was passed on what date? When you check very well, you will see all the detailed information that you need here. So, Nigerian terrorist government, they know what they are looking for and what they are doing. So here you see our attorney, our APM, and our lobbyists. Here you see the Minister of Foreign Affairs, our APM on the diplomatic engagement. We are moving and we are going. The talk with US government, when you press here, it will take you down to read the official memo in the US government Department of Justice website. If you click this link here, BRGIE in talks with US government over deal and makes offer public. If you just click this photo, it will take you to the document for you to read officially. The document that was submitted and it is embedded in the US Department of Justice of America. So everything that BRGIE are doing, They are being and well documented in the US Department of Justice. So if you haven't visited the website, please go and visit the website. This is our Dr. Sho Ayara, the leader of the Ambazonia. So we are moving with speed. I took time to open here so that all of you can just refresh your memory and to see and understand what is happening. It is through all these engagements that are happening that you now see that American think tank groups, American media houses are now reporting about the genocidal war in Nigeria. It is Biafra government in exile that is pressing the button. Do not wait to hear that they are calling Biafra. No. The Biafran people are the massacred Christians. The Biafran people are the Christians that are being massacred there. So, don't wait to hear Biafra. The time that you will hear Biafra openly, directly from their mouth is coming. For now, we are using the Christian massacres to enter them, to open the wounds, and to make everybody understand what is happening. You are the Christians that are in Nigeria that are being massacred. You are the one that is fighting back. The terrorists are the ones massacring and maiming you, outnumbering and reducing you in numbers. So today, we come back again to ask the very big question. They say Nigeria is at what? 65 years. Is it 65 years of progress, or it is 65 years of pains and penury? Is it 65 years of starvation, or it is 65 years of development? Is it 65 years of massacre, or is it 65 years of exploration? Is it 65 years of exploitation? Is it 65 years of good governance? Is it 65 years of bloodletting? Or is it 65 years of a STEM and resistive defense and military force that crushes every terrorist that raises their head against their indigenous people? The reverse of what you expected is what the Zoological Republic of Animal Kingdom has become. It is a den where babies, women, and children are being slaughtered on a daily basis. It is a den where Nnamdi Kanu, a man that committed no crime, was kidnapped by this government that are calling themselves Nigeria at 65. So it is Nigeria at 65 as international kidnapper. That is the best word to explain and to describe Nigeria at 65. Nigeria at 65 is international kidnapper, because Nigeria at 65, they went to Kenya to kidnap Nnamdi Kanu. Nigeria at 65, they deploy all armored tankers to come to Biafra land to kill and to crush and to slaughter Biafran people on a daily basis. Why? Because of Biafra independence. Nigeria at 65, all they do is to do what? Destroy the Biafran people's lives. For those of you that do not have the link to the website, I'm posting the link now to the website, so you can click and then you go there and view. So you can see all the photos and information that you need on the website there. So it is Nigeria at 65 Nigeria as an international kidnapper. But the question comes back to the Igbo terrorists, criminal politicians. I played a video where Nnamdi Kanu was talking. And Nnamdi Kanu even commended the Yoruba elders. Yes, he commended the Yoruba elders and their elite. He said the Yoruba elders, they don't allow their own to be betrayed. They don't allow their own to be picked up by a vulture. They don't allow their own to be picked up by an eagle. That they all come together, they surround and shield and give a protection to their children. They don't allow their children to be picked as a prey by a vulture or by eagle. Rather, they shield, they protect. Then he went on to describe Igbo elders. He said, you people are the most useless of it all. Yes. Because instead of you to look for a way of protecting your children, you are the ones that are doing what? That are arranging the kidnapping of Nnamdi Kanu. All the Igbo politicians, and I want to say thank God that this sensitization that we embarked on for the past days now, it is yielding fruit. Some of you may think that people are not listening to us. It is on Twitter that the mainstream media is speaking and connecting to people that matters. Yes. We may not have many people listening to us on YouTube and Facebook, but go to Twitter. The Twitter, they are getting the message. And today, when I was solving the media on Twitter, I was seeing many of them beginning to pick the topic that we are pushing now, the topic of Igbo politicians jail Nnamdi Kanu, while Fulani politicians protect Boko Haram. I say, yes. They also start calling out all the Igbo politicians. They are calling the names of the senators, the governors. I say, yes. You people are getting the message. In this very media, use the power of the media to send the message that will liberate and to change the mindset of Biafrans from the misinformation that has been given to them. Change the narrative. We did not have the media in 66 to 70s, but we are privileged to have the media in our own dispensation. So we are making use of this media by sending the message that will reset your brain. When this message resets your brain, you will now come back to your senses. As a Biafran, it is time you hold Peter Obi responsible. Anywhere you see Peter Obi, all of you that allow Peter Obi to be junketing to America, to UK, to Europe, to France and anywhere, and he's coming to have meeting with you people. And you people are giving him endorsement of 2027. I want to make you to understand that you are actually digging the grave of Peter Obi. Yes. Peter Obi will live longer if you don't push him to go and contest to be the president of Nigeria. He will live longer. He will have a good life. You will be looking around and then you will see Obi and Obi will be there for you. But when you make a mistake of allowing him to be used again and dumb again and used again to blindfold you and to disrupt your mind on Biafra independence, it will be too bad for you. It was when Peter Obi was brought in to disrupt your mind in 2023, that was when all of you abandoned Martin Nnamdi Kanu in detention. All your hopes and aspirations were that when Obi wins election, Obi will now come and bring Martin Nnamdi Kanu out. And then I ask all of you, when Obi does not win election, what happens? Martin Nnamdi Kanu rot in jail, right? While we had a solution of releasing Martin Nnamdi Kanu by shutting down Biafra land without any movement of elections. Because of how stupid some of you are, you decided to go and play the chess game of Nigeria and Obi. You played. And even after Tinubu have been elected into power, you people were waiting to November of 2023 for the Nigerian court that is controlled by Tinubu to now remove Tinubu in power and now put Obi in power for you. I look at all of you and I laugh. That was when I knew that some of you have brain tumor. Yes, many of you have brain disease. Who controls the INEC? It is Tinubu, the president of a country. Who controls the judiciary? It is Tinubu. Who elect or appoint the Attorney General of the Federation? It is Tinubu, the presidency. Is it you that is not part of the government that you now go and elect the presidency, will now go and elect the Attorney General of the Federation? Is it you that will now decide what the attorney will do, or it is the person or the government in power that elected that person that will now decide? Let me ask people some questions. As I am like this now, can I stand up and then start fighting this Biafra Republic government in exile, which I am part and parcel of? I'm asking a question. I am part and parcel of Biafra Republic government in exile. And then I was elected by Biafran people or appointed by my minister or my prime minister or my acting prime minister to be his minister of information. Can I now stand up and start fighting the prime minister and fighting his government and say I want to expose his government? Has he stopped being the prime minister? Has he stopped being the acting prime minister? Does he have the power to dissolve that my office? Does he have the power to change me from that office? He has the power because I am under him, right? So if I do anyhow, I will be taken out of that office. And when I am taken out of that office, anything I say is what? Irrelevant. Him being the prime minister or the acting prime minister, he will still remain and he will re-elect another person or appoint another person and pass to the cabinet. They will cast a vote of confidence and vote the person into office. A new person is there. Has that crumbled that ministry? No. But it has crumbled my position. I'm out, right? The same thing now is applicable to people that are moronic in nature. The Attorney General of Nigeria or the Attorney General of a federation or a country, he is appointed by the presidency. When that presidency appoints, you have to be loyal to that presidency that appointed you. You will not come and then be bigger than the people that appointed. So, how will the Attorney General of the Federation be appointed into power or into office or into work, and then the Attorney General will now be the one to start disobeying the presidency? Aha. So you now think that the Attorney General will now
Mr. President, the Senate is worried that if the activities of Simon Ekpa, who is issuing the illegal sit-at-home order, is not checked, he may succeed in corrupting the minds of Nigerian youths and turning them against the government of Nigeria. Accordingly, the Senate resolved to condemn the sit-at-home in totality, as well as the nefarious activities of Simon Ekpa, who is the gang leader.
Point of order, the leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the Senate is worried that if the activities of Simon Ekpa, who is issuing the illegal sit-at-home order, is not checked, he may succeed in corrupting the minds of Nigerian youths and turning them against the government of Nigeria. Accordingly, the Senate resolved to condemn the sit-at-home in totality, as well as the nefarious activities of Simon Ekpa, who is the gang leader.
Point of order, the leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the Senate is worried that if the activities of Simon Ekpa, who is issuing the illegal sit-at-home order, is not checked, he may succeed in corrupting the minds of Nigerian youths and turning them against the government of Nigeria. Accordingly, the Senate resolved to condemn the sit-at-home in totality, as well as the nefarious activities of Simon Ekpa, who is the gang leader.
Point of order, the leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the Senate is worried that if the activities of Simon Ekpa, who is issuing the illegal sit-at-home order, is not checked, he may succeed in corrupting the minds of Nigerian youths and turning them against the government of Nigeria. Accordingly, the Senate resolved to condemn the sit-at-home in totality, as well as the nefarious activities of Simon Ekpa, who is the gang leader.
Point of order, the leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the Senate is worried that if the activities of Simon Ekpa, who is issuing the illegal sit-at-home order, is not checked, he may succeed in corrupting the minds of Nigerian youths and turning them against the government of Nigeria. Accordingly, the Senate resolved to condemn the sit-at-home in totality, as well as the nefarious activities of Simon Ekpa, who is the gang leader.
Point of order, the leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the Senate is worried that if the activities of Simon Ekpa, who is issuing the illegal sit-at-home order, is not checked, he may succeed in corrupting the minds of Nigerian youths and turning them against the government of Nigeria. Accordingly, the Senate resolved to condemn the sit-at-home in totality, as well as the nefarious activities of Simon Ekpa, who is the gang leader.
Point of order.
Simon is the only problem and Biafra is the only problem people have. But the entire Nigeria are crying of the massacre of Christians. Today in the media you check, you saw dominance of reproach. Dominance of reproach from Nigerians who presumably should be celebrating Golden Day, big day of Nigeria independence. But what did you see? You saw a day of reproach from the Nigerians. I am so happy of the reactions of Nigerians today on the media. They have really shown that the massacre of Christians that the Biafran people have carried on their head for years, and they have called them names. It is because of us carrying the massacre of Christians on our head that have made Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to be kidnapped and our prime minister imprisoned. And many Biafrans forcefully disappeared in Biafra land, kidnapped, tortured, imprisoned, and jailed, and then they threw away the key. Some have been disappeared and we don't even know their whereabouts again. Some of them were poured acid while their hands were tied to the back in Biafra land. Who did it? It is our own governors that are working for the interests of the Nigerian terrorist government. We have suffered a lot because of speaking for the massacre or against the massacre of Christians. And we still continue to bear the brunt because our leaders are behind bars as we speak. That is why you can see a senator that is of our own extract standing boldly to tell Nigeria that he should come and kill us. But this same senator cannot open his mouth and say, Nigeria terrorist government, they should go after the real terrorists that are in the far north and middle belt and Yoruba land. Today, they have engulfed the Yoruba lands. And Mazi Nnamdi Kanu still reminded us something again.
The leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the Senate is worried that if the activities of Simon Ekpa, who is issuing the illegal sit-at-home order, is not checked, he may succeed in corrupting the minds of Nigerian youths and turning them against the government.
But if you check the message from this Senator Osita very well, you will see that he was right. Let us come back to the reality. Are Nigerians not aware of the reality of the Christian massacre today? This is why they kidnapped Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. This is why they imprison our Prime Minister Simon Ekpa. So if our Igbo politicians knew very well that the awareness that Biafran people are creating will open the eyes of the entire Nigerian people, and they will now get convinced and get to understand that Nigeria is a death trap. If Igbo politicians realize the intricacies and the importance of the message and the preaching that we are doing and the awareness we are doing every day, and then the Fulani terrorists did not wake up on the red chambers to protest that Biafran people should be stopped, that Biafran people should be kidnapped, that Biafran people should be imprisoned for creating the awareness ahead of time. But it's Igbo politician that is doing it. That means there is something this idiot here knew and foresaw that he was not even telling his fellow colleagues inside these red chambers. I ask a very simple question now. From the outrage that you have seen from Nigerians on the media today, was what he was saying here not right? Listen to him again, oh.
Of Nigeria. Accordingly, the Senate resolved to condemn the sit-at-home in totality, as well as the nefarious activities of Simon Ekpa, who is the gang leader.
Point of order, the leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the Senate is worried that if the activities of Simon Ekpa, who is issuing the illegal sit-at-home order, is not checked, he may succeed in corrupting the minds of Nigerian youths and turning them against the government of Nigeria. Accordingly, the Senate resolved to condemn the sit-at-home in totality, as well as the nefarious activities of Simon Ekpa, who is the gang leader.
Point of order, the leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the Senate is worried that if the activities of Simon Ekpa, who is issuing the illegal sit-at-home order, is not checked, he may succeed in corrupting the minds of Nigerian youths and turning them against the government of Nigeria. Accordingly, the Senate resolved to condemn the sit-at-home in totality, as well as the nefarious activities of Simon Ekpa, who is the gang leader.
Point of order, the leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the Senate is worried that if the activities of Simon Ekpa, who is issuing the illegal sit-at-home order, is not checked, he may succeed in corrupting the minds of Nigerian youths and turning them against the government of Nigeria. Accordingly, the Senate resolved to condemn the sit-at-home in totality, as well as the nefarious activities of Simon Ekpa, who is the gang leader.
Point of order, the leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the Senate is worried that if the activities of Simon Ekpa, who is issuing the illegal sit-at-home order, is not checked, he may succeed in corrupting the minds of Nigerian youths and turning them against the government of Nigeria. Accordingly, the Senate resolved to condemn the sit-at-home in totality, as well as the nefarious activities of Simon Ekpa, who is the gang leader.
Point of order, the leader of the Senate.
We did not corrupt the minds of Nigerian youth. Rather, we opened the eyes and the minds of Nigerian youth. So that eye opening is what has made the Nigerian youth to now understand and see and know what is actually facing them, the reality, because they have been living in fool's paradise. Yes. While the massacre is happening in Benue, while the massacre is happening in Borno, in Zamfara, in Plateau, in Kwara, in Kaduna, in Borno, they don't make it a reality to them. That is when they give them BB Niger to start watching. That is when they give them Nollywood to start watching. I want to show us something today. Before I go to the video I want to use to explain something to Biafrans. Now, Davido is who? Nigerian celebrity, right? Davido is making so much money and is riches and became who he is. From where? From Nigerians and from Nigeria. Nigeria promoted him. Nigerians promoted him by watching his video, subscribing, and liking his music, and making his music to be their best of best. But now, do you know what happens? Now, look at what happens here. Davido now wants to create job. Davido is now going to South Africa to create a job. Davido is set to invest over $100 million approximately into his own private jet line known as Chivido Jet Line in the heart of South Africa's city, Johannesburg. This will make him the first ever artist in the world to own a private jet line. Now, creating this or putting this in Johannesburg in South Africa will create jobs for the people of South Africa. And if you will go and check that job that will be created, a Nigerian that come from Nigeria will not be able to get that job in South Africa. But South Africans and other nationals will be on the line to get that job. What stops Davido from investing this money in Nigeria? It is Nigerians that promoted his music and make him to become who he is today. Huh? Okay. If he was not into music, let him just continue with his father's wealth. Let us know that it is father's wealth that he's doing. But type on the internet Davido and look at the people that listen to Davido's music most. It is Nigerians that make it to go viral. Both on YouTube or on Facebook or on Spotify or anywhere that you're checking. It is Nigerians, people that are watching from Nigeria region that makes it to go viral more than every other thing. Now Davido is taking the job opportunity to South Africa. Why is he taking it to South Africa? He's taking it to where his business will be secured. He's taking it to where there is no jihadist terrorist that will destroy the business. He's taking it to where his business will not be ruined. He's taking it to where his mind will be stable and calm. He's taking it to where there is no insecurity. He's taking it to where he will be relaxed while enjoying his investment and while making his money. He's taking it to where everything will work out well. While you fools are singing Davido's music and clicking it and playing it every day. Oh my God. What will happen to you? Now, the people that sat down in this Senate looking for the head of Simon Ekpa to kill and looking for the head of Nnamdi Kanu and the head of General Gento to kill, all of them are Biafrans. The one that is talking, that is raising the motion, is a Biafran. The one that he is submitting the motion to and telling him, Mr. President, is also a Biafran. Now, do you now see how the Fulani terrorists, the Nigerian terrorist government, is using all of you to fight against Biafra? Akpabio is the Senate President of Nigeria, right? Akpabio got into office of the presidency of the Senate through criminality that he had. And for his sins to be forgiven, Akpabio had to be put in there. So that it becomes cover me, I cover you. We are corrupt too. Cover me, I cover you. He covers Tinubu and Tinubu also covers him. Akpabio became the Senate President. Akpabio is who? A Biafran. He is the one seated as the Senate President. Now, you now see another Biafran standing up, reading the motion of how they have to destroy Biafra. This is Akpabio when he was crying. Akpabio was crying before and was calling on these politicians and asking them and say, what are the rules of these politicians in your state? How come you say you are the governor of Enugu, or the governor of Imo State, or the governor of Anambra, or the governor of Abia, and then you observe sit at home? You close your office, you go and sit at home. That means you are also observing the sit at home and obeying Biafra. Until he told them that they have to think outside the box. They have to start doing something different. They have to think outside the box and start doing something different. Is how they all plan on the kidnap of Nnamdi Kanu and also on the imprisonment of Simon Ekpa, our prime minister. This is him when he was lamenting. So when you see Akpabio lamenting as the Senate president, a Biafra, you see this second one that is calling himself Senator Osita Isunaso. He is now the one submitting the cry that the Senate is worried. The entire Senate is worried. Their worry is that Biafra people, Simon Ekpa, Nnamdi Kanu, is opening the eyes of Nigerians to the reality of the massacre of Christians, which they have all covered, and they don't allow the international media to know what is happening. Now, how long has it been that BRGIE existed? BRGIE just existed in Washington, D.C., having meeting with Washington, D.C. lawmakers, not up to 2 years now. We started in September 2021. This is just 1 year. Just 1 year now that BRGIE started having meetings with the lawmakers of USA. We have started making these awareness that they were afraid of. These awareness that they were afraid of going into the US Congress. This awareness has gone into the US Congress, and the message is gaining result now. And it is not just Biafran people now that are now passing the message. The US congressmen and women are taking the message from our hand and helping us to push it down to the media. First is the media. You know, media get power. The media now start, you can see Fox News. Fox News is now talking about the massacre of the Christians. Washington Post is talking about it. A very big journalist was talking about it, Bill Miller. And then you saw Sky News talking about it. You saw Al Jazeera. CNN is shining. BBC, they are all catching in because they shame them now. This is what you heard this man say. Mr. Speaker, the Senate is worried that if they don't stop Biafra, they don't stop Simon Ekpa, they don't stop Nnamdi Kanu, if they don't stop BRGIE, we will succeed in doing what? Corrupting the Nigerian youth, their mind and brain with the truth. With the truth. They are afraid of the truth, which is power. The truth that will push everybody to stand up to face the reality. Now you can see people in the Yoruba land, they are running away from their lands. And on that very note, our PM have a message to give to them. This is our website. When you go to our website, when you click on diplomatic engagement, you will see our PM here. Click on it, you will hear what it's going to tell you.
I want you to understand, it is only in Biafran land that people are not running away from their ancestral land in the entire Nigeria. In Yoruba land, people are fleeing the ancestral land. In the northeast, northwest, middle belt, people are fleeing from the ancestral land. It is only in Biafra land, and the government of Biafra made it possible. But you know what? They would like you to believe that Simon Ekpa is the cause of insecurity. No, I am the solution, and the only way they can get to you is by kicking me out of the way, which is not possible. I have come. After I'm done with Nigeria, Biafra will be free and enjoy freedom. Biafra will know the importance of freedom and what I'm doing today in 5 years to come. Thank you.
Did you get the message? If you did not get the message, we will continue to educate you. It is only in Biafra land that people are not running away from their ancestral land and they are looking for some way to go and hide and then hand over their lands to the Fulani terrorists. Why? Because Biafra Defense Forces exist. That is why some of you that do not know the usefulness of Biafra Defense Forces, it is because they are shielding Biafra land. They are forming a defense mechanism. They have formed a defense, a brick wall, where they don't allow the terrorists to come into Biafra land to slaughter you. So as you sleep and relax yourself and rejoice, you don't know if there is war ongoing. When you are told that there is war and you see stockpiled dead bodies of babies, women, and children from Zamfara, Plateau, Kano, Kaduna, you don't know what is happening. You think that it is film or jokes because Biafra Defense Forces have formed a brick wall, a defensive wall, and they don't allow the same terrorists that is slaughtering people in Kaduna and Kano and Borno and Zamfara and Kwara to happen to you. You don't know the good that Biafra Defense Forces is doing to you until the day you lose them, until the day you don't see them again. This Igbo political criminal that is standing here and the Senate president that is there talking, the two of them, this one is saying the Senate is worried that Biafra people will come and expose them. Then Akpabio is saying, yes, point of order, Mr. Speaker, continue to speak because they are planning of how to quench Biafra. They don't know the usefulness of Biafra Defense Forces until we allow these terrorists to come and visit their families one after another. But we are not going to allow the terrorists to come into Biafra land because the terrorists will not go after them. They will come after the poor masses because they are the ones paying the terrorists. They will pay the terrorists. They will direct them on where to go, who to go and attack. The terrorists will pay their families because they will give the terrorists money. They will send the terrorists to come and attack the poor masses and kill the poor masses, whereby using the blood of the poor masses to glorify their attack.
The governor of the state himself obeys the sit at home on Monday. And then the civil servants that work in government house obey the sit at home. And government shut down on Mondays. It means the real governor of Southeast is Simon Ekpa, ruling the Southeast from Finland.
This is how they got shocked and they decided to do something. So now that Nigeria is at 65 as an international kidnapper, and Nnamdi Kanu is rotting in jail, while the northern terrorists and governors are liaising together and are buying more weapons for them, paying them more money, giving them more food, sitting down with them to discuss and talk and have good chat. A reasonable Biafran senator and politician should not be standing up to call for the head of Simon Ekpa or the head of Nnamdi Kanu or the head of the Biafra Defense Forces. You shouldn't be calling for the head of Biafrans who are fighting to stop and protect the babies from being massacred and stop the annihilation of our babies, women, and children in the hands of the terrorists. What you should be doing should have been to look for modalities of even bringing all the Biafrans together and ask them, how do we defend ourselves? That is why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in the video I played was commending the Yoruba elders for coming together, for putting their heads together on how to stop the terrorists. Yesterday, I put a publication on the screen where 130 groups of Yorubas, elders, they came down, their senators and ministers and traditional rulers. They are planning of how to combat the terrorists that have arisen in their lands, because they can't sit back to be watching their babies and children slaughtered and their women running away from their homelands in the midnight, where they wander in the midnight and they don't know whether they are going to run into the hands of another set of terrorists that are hiding somewhere. So if you see this unity of purpose, if you see this togetherness, if you see this love and affection, if you see this consistency in the Yoruba people, their elders are the ones taking the lead, calling their youth together, calling everybody together, coming together and even writing petitions. They did not write petitions to come and stop the massacre or the terrorist invasion in Nigeria or in Biafra land or in the north. They put their region first. They said they are writing this petition for the terrorist invasion to be stopped in southwest, which is only Yoruba land. Only Yoruba land. So I want all Biafrans to start holding all the Igbo political criminals, all the Biafran political criminals, elite, accountable. Wherever you see Peter Obi, you have to hold Peter Obi and ask Peter Obi to produce Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Wherever you see Peter Obi, it is not for you to start jumping on Peter Obi and start jubilating and glorifying him and praising him for the kidnap of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the imprisonment of our Prime Minister, the crushing of the Biafran people, the kidnapping of the Biafran people, the roadblocks that are implemented in Biafra land, and the subjugation that our women and children are going through. No. What you should be doing henceforth is hold Peter Obi accountable. Ask Peter Obi, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was in detention, was kidnapped in Kenya in 2021. Then in 2023, you were brought by UK Prime Minister to switch party. You switch from PDP to Labour Party overnight. They gave you ticket to now go as presidential candidate to come and deceive Biafran people, to cajole them into believing that they should abandon Biafra and then come and support Labour Party, that is the hope of Igbo man. Yes. Then all of them went sheepishly, so that the attention on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's release and the attention on Biafra will be quenched. You succeeded. Since you finish your shambolic campaign of presidency of 2023, have you done anything to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Have you gone for his release? No. Now you are campaigning for another 2027, which you will not see. So all you people want is presidency and not the freedom of the Biafran people, not the freedom of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So hold Peter Obi responsible wherever you see him. Hold Peter Obi. Is no more time for political campaign. It is time for accountability. It is time to hold all of them accountable. If you want Mazi Nnamdi Kanu release, if you want our PM release, if you want Biafrans release that are captured and locked up, if you want the Biafra Defense Forces to do their work and get you Biafra tomorrow, you must start holding these, our politicians, accountable. Hold them accountable, drag them out, ask them why Fulani senators and ministers and governors will be protecting Boko Haram terrorists while they themselves will be the one to stand up on the floor of the red chambers, asking for the head of Martin Nnamdi Kanu, asking for the head of Simon Ekpa, asking for the head of Biafra agitators, asking for the head of Biafra army. The same Biafra army, if not because of them, everybody would have been massacred in Nigeria now. Everybody in Biafra land would have been gone. It is the Biafra army that is sustaining and keeping everyone alive in Nigeria. They are the one pushing and sustaining that rock of the terrorism that is falling on the Christian churches. It is Biafra Defense Forces that is holding and sustaining it from not falling on the Christian churches. By the time you remove the Biafra Defense Forces, that rock of the terrorists will fall on the Christian churches once and for all, and the entire Christendom will be quashed to pieces, and you will not see anybody again. Hold these politicians accountable, because a Fulani man, a Yoruba man, a Tifi man, an Hausa man did not stand up in the red chambers calling for Biafra to be stopped. No, he is a Biafran that called for Biafra to be stopped. Godswill Akpabio is a Biafran. You heard him from the video I just played. He was challenging the 5 Igbo governors why they must be bowing down to Biafra sit at home. That when they bow down, that means they have ceded. That means they have yielded to Biafra. And he himself knows that he himself was also yielding, because as the Senate President of Nigeria, he dare not visit Biafra land on the day of sit at home. He observed that same sit at home. So he was also yielding to Biafra. But he was admonishing the governors to step up their game, that they are not doing much, that is very shameful, that they happens to be the chief securities of their state, and then him cannot come from Abuja to Biafra land on a Monday because the governors are not doing their work. Because on those days, Biafra land is shut down. You dare not move to anywhere. You must hold all these senators, ministers, and governors accountable if you want to see our leaders released.
Mr. President, the Senate is worried that if the activities of Simon Ekpa, who is issuing the illegal sit-at-home order, is not checked, he may succeed in corrupting the minds of Nigerian youths and turning them against the government of Nigeria. Accordingly, the Senate resolved to condemn the sit-at-home in totality, as well as the nefarious activities of Simon Ekpa, who is the gang leader.
Point of order, the leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the Senate is worried that if the activities of Simon Ekpa, who is issuing the illegal sit-at-home order, is not checked, he may succeed in corrupting the minds of Nigerian youths and turning them against the government of Nigeria. Accordingly, the Senate resolved to condemn the sit-at-home in totality, as well as the nefarious activities of Simon Ekpa.
If this is the kind of distraction and corruption of minds of the Nigerian youth that we have been doing and we have to do to save the lives of the Nigerian youth, then we will do more and more and more of it. Yes, because the campaign we have been doing is actually working. Yes, we have been able to open the minds of the Nigerian youth in another way that they are saying we are condemning. No, we are not condemning. We are not corrupting. We are actually opening their minds. We have opened their minds, and then they see the reality. And today of Nigeria at 65, they are actually exemplifying the reality, and the reality is playing out. You can see the outrage in the media after the role we have played in Washington, D.C., and then we now sit back and watch how it is going. So, if this is the best way of corrupting the minds of Nigerian youth by exposing and dragging them to the reality of the atrocities of Nigerian government and the terrorists over the massacre of babies, women, and children of the Christendoms, then we are going to do more, and we will take glory in doing more and more and more and more and more and more of it. While that is ongoing, we want the Biafran people to hold the terrorist politicians that we have in our lands accountable. This is Nnamdi Kanu crying out with pain because he is so disappointed in the senators, the governors, the politicians that we had expected to be doing the same thing that Gumi and the Fulani and the northern governors and senators are doing for the northern people. Yes, I want all of you to understand that if you don't cause a problem, you will not be able to solve one. You must cause a problem to be able to solve a problem. The law of Newton says, to every force, there must be equal and opposite reaction for there to be a friction. If there is no equal and opposite reaction, the law of Newton is not satisfied. For you to make something move, that thing that is standing is a load. For that load to move, to be in motion, you have to apply a force to propel it. That force will not come from the pit. That force to propel that engine need to come from you. So you have to exert the force. So there is a problem in Nigeria, and that problem is what is making noise in the entire media now. Biafran people found the solution. And the solution is for us to do what? To get Biafra. When we get Biafra, we solve the problem. So Biafra has now become a problem to these senators and the ministers, because we have made Biafra to become a firing furnace for them. We increase the flame, the burning temperature, and the boiling temperature is increasing on a daily basis. So they have to feel the heat. We do it military-wise by standing to defend our land. We do it by opening the eyes and the minds of people in the media. And now, we take it to Washington, D.C. Now you see, the entire world are talking about it, and they are catching up with the reality.
Who is the gang leader?
Point of order, the leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the Senate is worried that if the activities of Simon Ekpa, who is issuing the illegal sit-at-home order, is not checked, he may succeed in corrupting the minds of Nigerian youths and turning them against the government of Nigeria. Accordingly, the Senate resolved to condemn the sit-at-home in totality, as well as the nefarious activities of Simon Ekpa, who is the gang leader.
Point of order, the leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the Senate is worried that if the activities of Simon Ekpa, who is issuing the illegal sit-at-home order, is not checked, he may succeed in corrupting the minds of Nigerian youths and turning them against the government of Nigeria.
The lamentation is too much. Honestly, the lamentation is too much. The lamentation is too much. And we love it when we see them lament. It means we are doing something. If you did not do something, and if you are not doing something, they will not cry over it. So their lamentation is worth it. Yes. Let us listen to this message from Nnamdi Kanu. Because Nnamdi Kanu had expected that the senators that we have, the governors that we have, the ministers that we have, that found themselves in the National Assembly of Nigeria, in the House of Reps of Nigeria, should have been talking to table the plight of the Biafran people. Rather, what they are doing is to table that Biafra people should be destroyed, while the Fulani terrorists should come into Biafra land and kill all Biafran women and children. They outrightly opened their mouth and canvassed in the Senate that our Biafran leaders should be kidnapped. They should be repatriated to Nigeria. They should be locked up, and that every Biafran should be killed. They stood up, these criminal politicians that we have in Biafra land, all of them in all the extracts, they stood up together to unanimously agree on proscribing the name indigenous persons of Biafra. The indigenous persons of Biafra that you say you're proscribing, you yourself, you are indigenous person of Biafra. And you stand in the Senate and say you are proscribing yourself. You see how foolishness works? IPOB is not just like a name of a group. No. IPOB means the indigenous persons of Biafra. I'm not talking of IPOB that you go and register it as an organization or group or entity in any place that you're living. No, I'm talking about indigenous people of Biafra that exist as Biafran people. Yes. So when you say you are doing what? You are proscribing IPOB. That means you are proscribing yourself, because you yourself, you are IPOB. Listen to Nnamdi Kanu. Because of the disappointment of these people.
Some Igbo people should not have been born. That is why I hate the word IGBO. I can't stand it. The stupidity being exhibited by these people is second to none. These are the same people that killed your fathers, your mothers, your grandchildren. Even those unborn, they slaughtered everything. 6 million people. And you are giving them money. Chineke melu na ebere. Chineke na melu na ebere. Dear Lord God, have mercy on these people. Your hopelessness is staggering. Staggering. I don't believe I'm from these people.
Hey.
I cannot believe it.
Hey, did you hear Onyendu? Onyendu say, you don't believe he's from this our tribe. Do you know why Onyendu say he doesn't believe he's from this our tribe? Because the blood that is flowing in him, the blood that is flowing in our PM, the blood that is flowing in the Biafra Defense Forces, the blood that is flowing in our APM, the blood that is flowing in all of you well-meaning Biafrans that know what Biafra means and you want Biafra, the blood that is flowing in all of you admins and reps and cabinet members of BRGIE, you are singing and speaking for freedom of the Biafran people, of our babies, women, and children. But these senators, these ministers, these governors, the reverse is the case. That's why Onyendu say, I don't believe that I am from these same people. Because if I can put my life on the line and say Biafra or nothing, how come these people will be going to the National Assembly to be asking for my head on a spike? That is why it's telling you, I don't believe that I am from these people. Yes.
Dear Lord God, have mercy on these people. Your hopelessness is staggering. Staggering. I don't believe I'm from these people. I cannot believe it. That I was born in, God forbid bad thing, I can't believe it. You don't know who Buhari is? So you mean that we spent all our time stopping APC in Anambra for nothing? Some of you still went and contributed money to APC. May the good Lord have mercy upon all your wretched souls, because some of you are not worthy to be called human beings. Your stupidity is astonishing. Astonishing, I said.
Great one.
I have never seen such rubbish. How many Awasa people has ever contributed to any campaign led by an Igbo man? How many?
God bless you, sir. God bless you. Ask them. How many Fulani man have you seen stand up in the Senate to say they must stop the Fulani terrorists? How many Fulani man? Even the governor of Kwara State today is telling you that there were no much killing like this before, or that there had been before. So they should not say that Kwara is not safer now. What are they trying to do? Because they already signed a peace deal with the Fulani terrorists. They are protecting that peace deal agreement, which the federal government have told them, do not go and destroy anything with your utterances. The governor of, Samfara, was telling you that the government of the day are paying the terrorists. They use the taxpayers' money to pay the terrorists, and the same terrorists use that money to buy more weapons to come and slaughter the babies, women, and children. This is happening in the Far North and Middle Belt and the Yoruba land. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is asking you, Igbo politicians, Efulefos, and all the Biafran politicians, Efulefos, have you ever seen a Fulani man or an Hausa man come and support you, to come and topple him in Nigerian politics? You're carrying your children to go and sacrifice that a Fulani terrorist should kill your children so that you will become Igbo politician, Igbo presidency.
Mercy upon all your wretched souls, because some of you are not worthy to be called human beings. Your stupidity is astonishing. Astonishing, I said. I have never seen such rubbish. How many Awasa people has ever contributed to any campaign led by an Igbo man? How many Awasa men has ever given money to Igbo people to run for presidency? God have mercy on your souls. Igbo people are hopeless. I don't know why I'm doing this program this evening. After reading this news today, I don't know if I'm to start crying for the ground to open us. I don't know what to feel or think. A people without honor. There is no articulated philosophy. They don't believe in anything. Money, they follow the Ekwensu. Buhari, you're contributing. Listen very, very carefully. Igbo people. Chukwa Abiyama would wipe away all of you from the face of the earth. In a few days' time, it will be next 71 years. You will no longer exist as a group of people because your hopelessness is beyond pardon. You are contributing money to Buhari's campaign. All of you were there. When it comes to your own kind, you find a voice to complain. When Nwobodo went to Jos and betrayed Ekweme, nobody condemned Nwobodo. He is there as a political chieftain in Enugu. When that same senator from Enugu voted against Anambra joining the oil producing states, nobody condemned him. But now all of you are flocking to give money to an Awasa person so that can give you Sharia law and Islamize you. All of you that gave money to APC, my prayer morning, noon, and night is that Chukwa Abia Magabuni. God will punish all of you. Because you are evil. 6 million people dead, it doesn't touch you. In the zoo where we are in today, we are scattered all over the place. When they want, they can burn our shops. Have you been to our villages, those of you back home during Christmas? How many decent buildings can you see in your village? What is working in your village? Instead of us to come together and say, how do we get Biafra and get away from this rubbish? You are giving money to a Muslim man, an extremist, a fanatic, a jihadist for that matter.
Instead of them to come together and say, how do we get Biafra? What they rather do is, how do we stop Simon Ekpa? How do we stop Nnamdi Kanu? How do we stop the Biafra army? How do we stop General Gento? That is the message. And while they are planning all this, what is the Fulani terrorists doing? The Fulani terrorists are doing this. They are marching up against any attack on the terrorists that they have groomed. The vice president, they groomed the terrorists that is working in Nigeria today. So while the Efulefu politicians that we have are looking for our head to cut off, and looking for the head of Nnamdi Kanu to cut off, and looking for the head of Simon Ekpa to cut off, the Efulefu politicians are there dancing, while the vice president of Nigeria, a senator of the North, is daring you and say, to hell with you if you try to crush the terrorists in the North. If you dare try to crush the terrorists in the North, to hell with you. That is what is happening. So when you hear Nnamdi Kanu cry and say, instead of all of you to come together and say, how do we make this Biafra to come? No, they will not do that one. What they rather do is, they are looking for a way of making sure they kill Simon Ekpa. They are putting bounty on his head. You see, what shocks some of you is that a Fulani man is not the one putting bounty on the head of Simon Ekpa. But look at what a Fulani man is doing. What a Fulani man is doing is that he is soliciting for protection to the terrorists from the North, that you dare not crush the terrorists. While a Biafran man is doing what? He's planning of how they have to kidnap Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya. He's planning of how they have to kill Simon Ekpa in Finland. He's planning of how they have to kill all the Biafra Defense Forces. He's planning of how they have to kill Sonny because Sonny is coming to talk and to expose what they are doing. He's planning of how to kill APM because APM is now the one carrying the mantle. This is what a Biafran man is doing. That is why I say, hold all the politicians from the Biafran extract accountable, because they are the problems They are the reason why Nnamdi Kanu is in detention. They oppose the release of Nnamdi Kanu. Igbo politicians. Igbo politicians oppose the release of Nnamdi Kanu. When you look at them, some of you may not understand. They are the ones that say Nnamdi Kanu should not come out from detention. If they want Nnamdi Kanu out today, they will lift their feet and tell Tinubu, you must release this man ASAP. Because they don't want him out, they are the ones telling Tinubu, you can keep him there. Let him die there. Let him be buried there. Don't allow him to move to anywhere. So these people that you see here, they are the problems of Nnamdi Kanu. Let me see if I can bring it to the screen.
Some Igbo people should not have been born. That is why I hate the word IGBO. I can't stand it. The stupidity being exhibited by these people is second to none.
Oyendo, wait some more. Let me bring the other screen because I want to explain something to them. I believe this one is coming out. These people you see on the screen, you see Oti, Soludo, and the other one that carry face like shit. This one. What's the name? Francis Obunna, Opus Odinjo, Peter Mba. These are the people that say if Simon Ekpa, if Nnamdi Kanu is released, they will come and finish all of them. They will not have breathing space. So they don't have to allow them to be released. They don't have to allow them to have Biafra. They don't have to allow Biafra army to get Biafra. You see? Sorry. These are the people that want Biafra dead. They want Nnamdi Kanu dead in detention. They don't want him alive. These people you see on the screen. Let's go back to Oyendo. Let him finish the other message. Because when you listen to these people, it be like say your belly.
Some Igbo people should not have been born. That is why I hate the word IGBO. I can't stand it. The stupidity being exhibited by these people is second to none. These are the same people that killed your fathers, your mothers, your grandchildren. Even those unborn, they slaughtered everything. 6 million people. And you are giving them money. Dear Lord God, have mercy on these people. Your hopelessness is staggering. Staggering. I don't believe I'm from these people. I cannot believe it. That I was born in, God forbid bad thing, I can't believe it. You don't know who Buhari is? So you mean that we spent all our time stopping APC in Anambra for nothing? Some of you still went and contributed money to APC. May the good Lord have mercy upon all your wretched souls, because some of you are not worthy to be called human beings. Your stupidity is astonishing. Astonishing, I said. I have never seen such rubbish. How many Awasa people has ever contributed to any campaign led by an Igbo man? How many Awasa men has ever given money to Igbo people to run for presidency? God have mercy on your souls. Igbo people are hopeless. I don't know why I'm doing this program this evening. After reading this news today, I don't know if I'm to start crying for the ground to open us. I don't know what to feel or think. A people without honor. There is no articulated philosophy. They don't believe in anything. A Ekwensu potassium handicrafts money, they follow the Ekwensu. You don't know who Buhari, your control. Listen very, very carefully. Igbo people. Chukwu Abiyama would wipe away you, all of you, from the face of the earth. In a few days' time, to be next 71 years. You will no longer exist as a group of people because your hopelessness is beyond pardon. You are contributing money to Buhari's campaign. All of you were there. When it comes to your own kind, you find a voice to complain. When Nwobodo went to Jos and betrayed Ekwueme, nobody condemned Nwobodo. He is there as a political chieftain in Enugu. When that same senator from Enugu voted against Anambra joining the oil producing states, nobody condemned him. But now all of you are flocking to give money to an Awasa person so they can give you Sharia law and Islamize you. All of you that gave money to APC, my prayer morning, noon, and night is that God will punish all of you. Because you are evil. 6 million people dead, it doesn't touch you. In the zoo where we are in today, we are scattered all over the place. When they want, they can burn our shops. Have you been to our villages? Those of you back home during Christmas, how many decent buildings can you see in your village? What is working in your village? Instead of us to come together and say, how do we get Biafra and get away from this rubbish? You are giving money to a Muslim man, an extremist, a fanatic, a jihadist for that matter, that Islam can come. You have no shame. Where are the gossipers? Extraordinary. Maybe some of you left the Biafran struggle in China and in Japan, maybe to go and follow APC. Ebe Gode. You will all rot in hell, all of you.
Hey, Yendo, when he's talking, his messages are like what he said yesterday is happening now. He said maybe some of you left Biafran struggle to go and join APC and PDP political party. And that is what just happened. Many of them now, they left Biafra struggle to go and join APC and PDP political party and then be fighting Biafra now. If you see Kenka and the rest of them, they are fighting against Biafra now. They are not just fighting against Biafra, they are fighting against Nnamdi Kanu. They want Nnamdi Kanu to be imprisoned, for him to rot in jail. That is what they are doing now. They have embarked on a massive propaganda to feed the media and to destroy the minds of people against Biafrans and the Biafran struggle. But you know one thing that I love? Truth stands the test of time. Any Nigerian that you are deceiving now, and you have been deceiving for the past 5 or 3 years, you are actually wasting your time because they are beginning to see the reality of the messages that Nnamdi Kanu was preaching and the messages that we have been preaching. They are seeing the reality now in their very before. They are seeing it. They are seeing it now in their very before. They are seeing it now. So you may continue to do the propaganda the way you want to do it against Biafran people. The more you do it, the more you are helping us. The more you are helping us to climb the ladder and the radar. I salute all Biafrans. Today we don't have much time for calling in and for people to come into the studio because we started late. because of many other engagements. So tomorrow I may come earlier than usual to start. The message must be passed. We must continue the awareness. We must create this awareness. We must make everybody to understand and ask the questions. Ask these politicians, where is Nnamdi Kanu? What did he do to you people that you decide to kill him? Where is our Simon Ekpa, our Prime Minister? Where are all Biafrans that people have kidnapped and killed? Where are our Biafra defense forces that you are going after them? Why don't you go after the Fulani terrorists that are buying and unaliving people on daily basis? On daily basis, Fulani terrorists are killing people in the north, the middle belt, and everywhere. Why don't you go for them? I want every Biafran, whether you love Sonny or you don't love Sonny or you don't love to hear my voice, the message you should carry going forward is Igbo politicians jailing Nnamdi Kanu in detention, while Fulani politicians are protecting Boko Haram. So ask Igbo politicians to release Nnamdi Kanu and give to you. If they don't release him, go and engage them. Engage them in their houses, engage them in their offices, take the message to them, engage them wherever you see them. Don't exclude their family members when you're engaging them. Engage them with all their families. Because if my father is killing babies, women, and children, and I don't tell my father that what you're doing, you're annihilating a generation, the curses that will go on my father will also transcend onto me. So their families must also be held accountable. Don't let any of them out. Go after all of them and ask them for Nnamdi Kanu. Ask them for our Prime Minister. Ask them for Biafrans that they have killed. Because our problem is not the Fulani terrorists from the north. It is rat we know the route to your room that will bring rat we no route to your room from outside. Now the one wey dey house, na im go bring the one wey no road, come show road inside your house. So who know road come reach inside our room? Who know road come reach inside our village? Now these are our Igbo politicians. Now these are our Biafran politicians. So we have to drag them out. Let them come and tell us and show us the crime we've committed. They should produce our leaders, produce our Biafran people that they have massacred. They should produce everything that belongs to the Biafran people. Hold Peter Obi wherever you see him. It is no more time to celebrate Peter Obi when you see him. It is to hold him accountable. Hold Soludo when you see him. Hold Peter Mba when you see him. Hold Abaribe when you see him. Hold, what's the other one name? Let me see if I can bring their stupid faces to the screen. Hold all these idiots accountable. They are the problems that you have. Look at them there. Hold all of them accountable. These people here. Alex Oti, Soludo, Francis Ogbonna, Usodimma, Peter Mba, Enyin Nanya Baribe, this Osita Isunaso, and every other senators and ministers that you know, hold them accountable to release Nnamdi Kanu for you. They are the ones holding Nnamdi Kanu, not the Yoruba politicians, not the Fulani politicians, not the presidency of Nigeria. These are the people that are telling the presidency and the Fulanis and the DSS not and the court not to release Nnamdi Kanu. Look at them here. These are the people. The other day we saw Alex Oti coming to do town hall meeting, and then he was telling them, hey, the case of Nnamdi Kanu, we are not overlooking it. We are working on it. The discussion and the arrangement we are doing, we don't need to make it public so that it will not sabotage the process. They are not doing any process to release Nnamdi Kanu. Rather, they are tightening up the process. They are tightening up the process so that nothing will allow him to be released. Even as they hear that he is dying in health and needs to be taken to hospital, they went back. The court wanted to release Nnamdi Kanu. They went and met the DSS. They met the presidency. They called the chief judge and told the chief judge not to do any mistake of releasing Nnamdi Kanu. That they should lock him down. They should not release him. So hold all these senators, all these governors, all these ministers accountable. Abaribe is there. Where is him? Abaribe is there. Look at him there. Hold Baribe, hold all of them, all the senators that are from the Biafran extract. Because there is no senator from Yoruba land that is pressing his leg that Sunday Igbo should be massacred because of Oduduwa nation. There is no Fulani terrorist that is pressing his leg that the Fulani terrorists should be massacred. No, rather they are advocating that you should not touch them. This is what the vice president of Nigeria is telling you, that you should not try to crush the terrorists. But while our own senators, our own politicians are telling you that you have to kill Nnamdi Kanu, you have to not allow him to go for medical attention, that he must die in detention. So hold all these terrorists, politicians that we have, accountable. It is not the Fulani that is holding Nnamdi Kanu. It is these politicians that we have. Hold them accountable. Put them fire on their nyash. Hold somebody accountable does not mean that you just look at him and let him go. No. Hold them to ransom. Surround them. Hold them to ransom. Hold them with their belongings and their families. Hold them accountable and ask them to produce Nnamdi Kanu, or you show them pepper. They must produce Nnamdi Kanu. They must release him. When you hold them accountable, you will see that they will release. All of you that are talking in the media with this same campaign of Igbo politicians jailing Nnamdi Kanu, please continue the campaign. And don't do the mistake of when you go to talk, you start praising one governor, or you start praising one senator or one minister. Don't praise any of them, because they are one and the same thing. Lash it out on them, raw and undiluted. Continue the awareness. Let this message continue to sink in so that they will release Nnamdi Kanu. I salute all Biafrans, and I thank you all for all you're doing. Let the good work continue. Igbo politicians, they are the problems of Biafra. They are the problems of Nnamdi Kanu. They are problems of Simon Ekpa. They are the problems of Biafran people. They are the ones going after Biafra Defense Forces. They are the ones bringing the terrorist foot soldiers and the armored tankers to come and bomb Biafra land because of Biafra independence. It is not the senators of the north, or from Yoruba, or from Ekiti, or from Middlebelt. It is these Igbo politicians. So hold them accountable if you want to see Nnamdi Kanu, and stop making noise on the media and lamenting on the Fulani. No, hold your leaders accountable. And see you all tomorrow. Thank you for